Precinct. Prayer post colors. Colors post.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Left face. Forward.
My name is Julie White-Togo, and I'm the Chief of Staff of the City of Romulus. On behalf of the team, I would like to thank all of you for attending Mayor Birkhoff's 7th Annual State of the City Address. As a reminder, all of the proceeds from the donations today go directly to our summer programming for Movies in the Park and Sounds in Downtown. Please plan to join us sometime during the summer and take advantage of our fun opportunities and fun family events that we have downtown. At this time, I would like to recognize our elected officials who are here in our audience today. You can either stand or raise your hand. First of all, our city local elected officials, City Clerk Ellen Craig Bragg, City Treasurer Stacy Page, Mayor Pro Tem John Barton, Councilwoman Tina Talley, Councilwoman Kathy Abdo, Councilwoman Eva Webb, Councilwoman Celeste Roscoe, Councilman Bill Wadsworth, Councilwoman Virginia Williams. I'd also like to mention that with us this afternoon is our former city clerk and former councilwoman, Linda Choate. Also, Romulus School Board District President, Edward Martell. School Board Member, Denisa Terrell. And our 34th District Court Judge, Brian Oakley. I'd also like to recognize Wayne County Circuit Court Judge Paul Kusik, Wayne County Commissioner Al Haydes, and I believe he was joining us, I'm not sure if he's here yet, is Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. I'm sorry if I missed him in the audience. And then we also have with us this afternoon State Representative Alex Garza. And one of our neighboring visiting elected officials, Supervisor David Glade. Thank you. At this time now, I would like to ask Pastor Willis if he will come forward for the invocation.
Let us pray. Our Father, Lord, our God, we are grateful, we are thankful for your amazing grace.
Amen.
It seemed like only yesterday we was here praying the prayer for the state of the city of Romulus, and you blessed us with some tremendous things.
Amen.
Saw some tremendous highs, have a few setbacks, but you've been mighty good.
Amen.
God is too so much. You blessed this team tremendously. You blessed our leader. You continue to lead the city of Romulus to great things.
Amen.
And we are thankful.
Thank you.
You kept our mayor in good health.
Amen.
You kept his family in good health. And we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, Lord, we're looking for great things in the years to come.
Amen.
We don't know what you have in plan, but we know you have a plan.
Yes, yes.
We We pray, Lord, you continue to strengthen this team, strengthen our mayor, strengthen those that are around that, one that don't say a lot, but work so hard. We ask, Lord, you will bless them. Everyone that's from the collecting of the trash to the writing of the checks, we ask, Lord, you will bless this complete team. There's none better than others.
Amen.
We all is equal when it comes to this mayor of this city.
Amen.
Come to push the city forward. Thank you for his vision. Continue to bless his insights as we give you so much praise for it. These and all blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pastor Willis. And I did fail to mention my friend Daniel Funderburg from the Romulus School Board is here also. Daniel, always say the best for last. And at this time, I'd like to ask you to please turn your attention to the video screen and enjoy.
Right in here, and you get a seat in the exam check.
Well, it's that time of year again, time to get the eyes checked, get ready for this big upcoming year, 2020.
All right, we're going to go ahead and check your vision. Is it better, 1 or 2?
2, definitely. Oh, that's the strip mall that we worked on. In fact, a lot of people still today ask me about ordinance. We have specific staff now just to work in the building department. What an improvement.
Good. And we're going to go up here again. 1 or 2.
Oh, 2. Look at that. That's the Amazon building. Wow, what a difference. It was just an open field over a year and a half ago. What a beautiful facility. 3,000 jobs. Look at that picture.
Okay, same thing, other eye. 1 or 2.
Oh, definitely number 2. Wow, look at this. This is an example of many of the changes to a customer service focus that we've made with my team. I mean, putting the assessor up here at the main level, moving planning over to building, just really trying to focus on helping customers, being accessible, open for lunch, not being on furloughs. What a difference it makes. I hear that from a lot of residents day in, day out.
Good. All right. 1 or 2.
Oh my gosh, look at number 2 on this one. Clear picture of the re-grand opening at Elmer Johnson Park. We were able to reopen parks, no new taxes, some corporate sponsors. When our team first came in, there were no parks open. There was no recreation. Look at the smiles on those faces and what we've given as an opportunity for kids, families, and adults alike. Beautiful picture.
Good, okay. 1 or 2.
Definitely number 2. Look at this photo. This is an example of a swearing in of our public safety officers. Often I get residents will say, we need more people on the street. We need more help with public safety. We're in a position now where we can actually add to our team. This is just one of the examples of adding to public safety. This is police. We've also done the same with our fire services.
Good. All right, go ahead and sit back.
Wow, am I glad I came to get this checkup. What a different perspective it's given me. Where we were before in 2013, where we are today. I'm excited to go out and share with this whole community what the vision is moving forward for this city.
Amen.
You prayed about vision. I'm glad I didn't trip coming through that door. Welcome, everybody. Good to have everybody here. I can't believe it's been 1 year already. A lot of great things to talk about, so let's move right into things. This is our, obviously, take on the year 2020, but kind of tying it back to the vision we created, what we've done, where we're going, and kind of keep it fun. This is the quote to start off with, and it talks about vision without action is really just a dream, right? Never going to get you there. You're not going to get results. Action without vision really is just kind of passing time or wasting time. But when you have both, when you have a vision, you've got action, you can not just change the world, but you can change it one community at a time. And that's what we're here to talk about today. This is our vision process. Some of you in this room were in our visioning sessions. I know we had elected officials, we had schools, we had businesses, we had many people involved in it. And really, these were the key takeaways at the bottom. And I think it's really important, especially going into this year 2020, that everything that we do, both looking back and moving forward, tie to those, so that we're kind of doing a self-check. But those were a series of work session, round tables, we did surveys, a lot went into it. These are the major takeaways that came from that we're going to report out on today regarding division. Obviously, public safety was high on the list by everybody. The financial health, because we had just come off of one of the worst economic times for all municipalities in our history. We had the largest layoffs that we had in our city's history. As you heard in the little lead-in, we had things that were closed and not very customer service friendly. We're going to talk about economic development, which we heard from the residents on divisioning. That was the number one thing. Jobs, 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 and development and economic growth. And then just a lot of good community initiatives that I think you would like to hear us report out on. We're going to work in some video. This first one is Chad Newton, CEO of Wayne County Airport Authority. Chad's going to talk a little bit about both being neighborly and kind of collaborating, but also about public safety. That was both his background and one of the areas we focused on with our community and building that relationship.
When I first started in 1999, there was a lot of competition. There was a lot of resentment and a lot of negative feelings between the airport police and the city of Romulus. That has changed over the years. He's the type of leader that if I called him right now, he'd answer the phone. And you know, we keep an open line of communication. We're well aware of the fact that our airport is in the middle of your city, and it takes a good partnership and a good line of communication for us to keep open and keep that dialogue going. If there's anything that he needs, he knows he can contact me directly, and certainly if there's anything that I need, I call him directly. Over the years, I can't tell you the number of medical runs that we've responded to and saved lives in the city of Romulus because your department was overtasked at certain periods during the evening. We were able to assist there. And then we also have the assurance that if or when we need additional help, that Romulus has already committed to come and staff certain areas within our organization and make sure that they are able to respond to incidents on our airfield as well. But because of our quarterly meetings, because of our constant contact, I think we, you know, the old saying, you make your friends before you need them, and that's what we've done here in Romulus, not just with the city of Romulus, but all the other cities that surround the airport. But Mayor Birkhoff is a great example of somebody who cares about his organization and cares about the community and goes above and beyond to make sure that those relationships are kept intact.
Thank you, Chad, for doing that. He couldn't be here. Keep him in your thoughts. He had his son and his wife donated a kidney, so he could not be here, but it's going well. Things went well, but keep him in your prayers. Some other things on public safety that we want to talk about. You know, the fire station 2, we call it a reopening, right? Because remember, some of you heard about that when we had town halls and kind of said, this is what we're going to be able to do to enhance the service. Some other things were, and it looks twofold. You've got new vehicles, utilizing grants, but what good are fire stations and vehicles without people, right? To service them, to actually enhance the service there. So we're very proud of that, made progress, and you'll hear some more good things to come. Along the same line with public safety, upgrading the 911 system. 911 is our lifeline, right? That's how our residents ask for help. So now they actually have the ability to text 911. They might be in a situation where they can't talk, or there's someone right around that could expose them, so they can text 911, ask for help, tell them what the situation or scenario is, so we can get people there right away. Community outreach and safe neighborhoods. We've been doing for 6 years, taking our public safety and our city hall people on the road. We don't want to wait until things become an issue, and then they come to City Hall, right, Linda, and you come to our council meetings and you hear them voice that. We want to have people out in the field so we're hearing it and addressing it and trying to be proactive before it gets to that situation. Safe neighborhoods, again, having public safety people out at parks, in the neighborhoods, keep in contact. This is something that we talked about last year, but we really had a good year with this. This is our Public Safety Foundation. So the foundation is a 501c3, and it's a group of people from these companies that represent, these are big marquee names, that donate their time to come together with us. We have some people in this room, right, Dean, from Public Service, and some others that come. We're not getting paid to do this. They come together and they find ways that we can do fundraising and other things to raise money specifically for equipment for public safety. And so that's huge. We just did a visioning session with them. At the bottom is their kind of their mission statement that's going to be coming up at the next board meeting. But we need these partners to make sure that we're using those dollars to augment both the grants and our dollars to improve our public safety. Here's another video coming up, and this one is really important. Tony from MML, he'll talk about that he was here in this room. Anybody that's been in municipal government knows that we have challenges with that system. The schools know it, we know it, and so what he's going to talk a little bit about is what we did here and some things that we're still trying to do. And I had some people say, well, why are you talking about this, Birkhoff? I'm talking about it because it's a major problem. And we need everybody to talk about it. I need you to talk about it. I need, Commissioner Haddis to talk about it. If we don't address this and get Lansing to help us change and get us solved, we're not going to make an impact. So let's hear what Tony has to say.
Romulus is one of the first places we ever had a chance to do a community forum. Mayor Birkhoff helped host that and pull not just Romulus, but a lot of downriver communities into that, which was very helpful in getting this initiative rolling. In our view, it's one of the biggest challenges that local government faces, because the system we have doesn't track very well with the economy. There's a disconnection between the broader economy and the way money flows. We've seen huge disinvestment at the state level in the form of revenue sharing and reductions there. At some point, you can't cut your way to prosperity. And so you need to make those investments. If you were thinking about this as a business person, no business would disinvest in R&D. They wouldn't stop training their employees. Some of the tough decisions that local governments had to make. And so we're trying to get folks to think about it a little differently. We need to adopt an investment philosophy as it relates to local government, because we think, in our view, if local government is stronger, more prosperous, if the community's better positioned, that makes it easier to attract and retain people in the community, and it sort of has a snowball effect in the opposite direction, right? Getting kind of all ships rising, as opposed to you're trying to recruit a business to locate in Romulus, and what they see is that you're having to make tough decisions and cost-cutting measures. It doesn't quite match up with the message you're trying to portray.
Thank you, Tony, for doing that, and thanks for being a part of our Save Our Cities tour that we hosted you. So here's a couple things that I still want to talk about. I already said the first one. The model's broken. We've got to fix it. The only way we're going to fix it is by working with Lansing, right? Representative Garza, we need your help. We need everybody to be part of this solve. The second piece is that we're still all faced with, in this case, the tax base still has not recovered from that impact of that 2009 crisis, really. In fact, it will be years to come. It's not going to correct itself if we don't do something different. And then the bottom point is the increasing legacy cost. This is the area that I tell people when I'm networking with other mayors and supervisors and county level electeds, this keeps me up at night. Because we inherited, when I came in, we had a huge amount of debt for legacy costs for basically benefit packages and retirement packages that weren't funded. And so in my 6 years, we've shaved off about $25 million, which sounds like a lot. There's still a long way to go, and there's not a lot of easy things that we can do to address those issues. So we've got more work to do. So when we're at our audit talking to city council and our clerk and treasurer trying to say, hey, these are some options, this is the way we're going to shape our financial health as a community, those are decisions we're going to have to address. This is a slide, council recognizes this. This is right from our audit. So this is talking about basically unassigned fund balance. So think of unassigned fund balance as our savings account. That's at home. We have money in that savings account, and God forbid something happens, we've got to be able to keep things going. We've got to keep the heat on. We've got to be able to operate and function. And so used to say, I went back and watched the video, Frank Audia spoke in this room at that event that Tony was talking about, and he used to say about 15% of your fund balance for expenditures was a reasonable kind of recommendation or a safe point to have enough of a savings account. Now they've risen that to 25%, so you need to have 25% of those expenditures locked in, ready to go in case something happens. We're at that 25%. We should feel good about that and celebrate that, but not feel comfortable with that. We still need to make sure that we're making good financial decisions. Another piece of it, which comes from departments and from council's help on the budget, is just because it's in the budget doesn't mean you need to spend it, right? I mean, it's responsible spending. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a township or if it's a business or a church, right? If it's in the budget, you got to look at what do you really need to have. And so that, we've been very diligent on that point. Very proud though, we ran this chart all the way back to right when I came in November of 13, and we worked very, very hard to build that fund balance. Only one blip in the screen, and that was kind of planned for, but we've got to stay on that. That's a hard thing to accomplish, and I need everybody in this room's help to do that. This one is great. I call it kind of my teen slide because there's a lot up here, and I'll try to wrap it all in. Let's start with the hybrid leadership structure. This last year, and I see Tim Keys here. Thanks for being here, Tim. Tim stepped back in a part-time role as a retirement role. He's now with OHM. And so we took a look at the way we were doing business and how we were structured, and we restructured things. So we put people in place. Just before that, we put some new people on our strategy team, or L10. We pulled in a couple captains because JD has been out. So we've had, Darren and Josh step up. We brought Julie Albert in. We've added an IT person to give his view at the strategy team level with Steve. So it was a great chance to do that. The bigger part of it also that helped us is on the economic development. So we basically had great talent within our team that we could reassign. So we had people step up. So we had Mary step up with TIFA. We had Jazz step up with economic development. We had Maria. We had Julie. All these people that kind of rose up to take on a role that they had the talent to do, but really just didn't have the opportunity. So now they do. The contracts are up there, the ratified contracts that I thank the unions for and council for approving. So we had both police unions, we had the fire union, those have been ratified. We're working on Teamsters, after that AFSCME, and then we'll work on non-union. One of the things we changed with that though is we changed our process. So the people that were engaged and at the table, we brought a new labor attorney. I worked with HR, with Kevin Lozen, kind of being the go-to to put that team together. And it's really helped us get to the point we are. I don't know, a lot of you that have history in Romulus, remember that we would go years with expired contracts. I mean, it was a norm. That's not the way it should be. You should stay on those contracts. We're making great strides with that. Infrastructure and efficiencies, there's a lot that goes into that. Many of you remember we had a initiative to do some infrastructure 10-year plans. Voters came close, they said no, right? So our job is still to find solves. So what we did is, and Roberto, I give him credit if Roberto's here, thank you Roberto, he worked hard to find other monies to be able to do some local streets. Now the only thing it did is we had people that said, well, you didn't do all my street, or didn't finish the whole neighborhood. We're still, that's because the voters didn't give us the ability to do that. So we're still trying to find those solves to be able to do it. Efficiencies, we got Gary Harris here, second row. Gary's done a great job, piggybacking on larger government contracts that have higher volume so we can benefit from it. Finding efficiencies that he picked up from learning from Lynn and others in the industry, best practices, so we can make sure we're getting the most for our tax dollar. That's huge. The bottom one, dedicated employees. What I love about this city is our employees love to support and rally around each other. Time and time again, have we not seen where somebody had cancer, an illness, a death, and they come together? This is just one example where we had 2 employees that are battling some health issues, and so we closed downtown, we had a cornhole tournament, had a lot of fun, supported the local businesses, and that was just a snapshot at one point in time, the kind of crowd we had in downtown. So I wish we could have them down there every day, but it's getting people exposed to downtown and giving them ideas for investment and having fun. This one at the bottom, we have a Go an Extra Mile Award. This is one that Angela came up with, and there's a team now. So this is a group that where employees recognize employees. They can write up an employee for going above and beyond, going an extra mile. And then we actually had a candy bar program. You get them a candy bar, a little slip of paper. And those write-ups go before another group of employees that actually rate them and kind of vote on which are the significant ones. So they're not just, oh, we gave it to this one this week because they're my buddy. They're actually valuable things where they went above and beyond their job. And so I got a couple of them I want to give out, just a couple pat on the backs for today. And first, this video presentation in PowerPoint, couldn't do it without Mike Laskaska. Where's Mike? Mike, wave to Mike. He's always working. We can't let him have a break. This one was for Jasmine. Jasmine did an awesome job. She's a spark plug, man. She gets it going, got that energy. And I'd like, as Kevin Lowe's and Angela, you guys here, come on up, both of you, right now. Come on. You never know what's going to happen at Birkhoff's program. So we give out candy bars, not this size, but so this is, she said, not me. Kevin, Angela, we appreciate you. Great program. They hold down that HR department. They're both part-time, with one other part-time helper, which is Lois, and they do a phenomenal job. So I thought it'd be touching to give them a real candy bar that they can share. Don't start eating it back here, Kevin. Well, thank you for all you do. All right, family first. We talk about that, right? This little guy, this is Gavin. Gavin, hold your hand up. There's Gavin.
Hi, Kevin.
He's our grandson, Dean and Brittany's boy. But my daughter couldn't be here, but we had our first granddaughter. So that's Gavin holding Serena Shirley. So it was a big year for us. Gavin, you can help us up. Come here, buddy. We're going to put you to work. You know, I couldn't do this job without this beautiful lady over there. And so I would like you to take that to your grandma and you give her a big hug and a kiss. Because we love her. Okay, another video coming up. This video is going to speak to, I call it customer service, but also economic development. So I'll let you hear from Neil.
I had approximately 50,000 square foot building that was available empty in the city of Romulus that I was looking for a company to put in there. They were talking with a building owner in another city, and they were having some challenges getting comfortable with the city hall about whether they could put their operation in there. And there was this small window of opportunity, and we were able to contact, I called Mayor Birkhoff and his staff, and Leroy was just fantastic. He got everybody together. We had a short meeting with the client. It really had a huge impact and made the client feel welcome, and that Romulus was going to work with them to get them through the building process, and that was a real game changer for making the deal happen. In my case, when I've had to contact them at different times of, after 5 o'clock and different things like that, he answers his phone, and sometimes, in this case, you have a short window to get something done, and I've always found him to be very responsive, and he tries, gives you 100% effort when he is working with you on trying to get somebody to Romulus, and he has a great, when he talks with the customers, he gives them a very welcoming feeling to the city.
And so that company, I won't mention the city we pulled it from because we're not in competition, but it was pretty cool. They're called Wartech. What they do, they're expanding their business. They make a mechanism that goes inside aircraft that flies into the war zones and takes fuel. And so what they do is after they deliver the fuel, their mechanism loads wounded veterans to take out. So rather than coming in and flying out and wasting time and being inefficient, that's kind of their niche. So I thought it was a great business, non-abated type industrial user. It fit, and now they're going to grow and add more jobs. This part of it, economic development, there's two things here. The top piece of this is really talking about process. If you've heard anything about 5-star e-cities through the University of Michigan, this is our second year that we got this award. And what they really rate on the process is your assessing, your planning, your building process. So if somebody comes in, are they able to move through that process in a pleasing way and get everything done and make sure that their time is well spent as a business, and we get a chance to get all our issues addressed as local government. The bottom piece is really big because that's SEMCOG. So anybody from SEMCOG here? Thank you. SEMCOG, thanks for being here. SEMCOG is a 7 counties in southeast Michigan. And they put their report out mid-year last year. What they said is, okay, Romulus, not just on your process, but in their report, their quote was, the city of Romulus led the county, that was Wayne County, a part of the report, with 3.2 million square feet of total floor space, followed up by Detroit, which had 2 million. So we had 1.2 million more than Detroit in floor space and economic growth. And we had more than anybody else in that all 7 counties southeast Michigan. That's pretty cool results. Now, do we need more? Will we take more? Absolutely. So we have a great process. We're getting good traction. We're doing good work. We just have more to do. Over $58 million in investment over this last year. We'll take more. 32 new single family. We've done some creative things there, but again, we'll take more, right, city council electeds. We love the rooftops. And a ton of additional jobs, which is going back to the vision, what our residents said they wanted. Number one thing, jobs, jobs, jobs. So we're making progress, just keep on that path. Thanks to the chamber and all our electeds for coming out. We had so many ribbon cuttings and grand openings. These are just a few, but it was pretty neat, from a restaurant, barbecue restaurant, to a testing company, to a jazz club. We just had all different kinds of opportunities, and working to a doctor's office was another one. Good stuff going on. This next video clip, this is Jordan Selleck. She's an awesome executive director for a group called Conference of Western Wayne. And so the topic that she's going to talk about is a little bit on collaboration and best practices, but what I view this is one thing I have learned is that in government, we have, just under 25,000, remember Willis, so we have a nice sized city. We got the airport in the center. But when I go to Lansing and I'm speaking on Romulus, they're looking at, okay, this guy's got, there's less than 25,000 people. When Western Wayne is talking and we're all together and it's a nonpartisan group, we put everything aside and work on what the common issues are. Now we're talking about 18 communities representing 700,000 people. Now Lansing might listen a little more, right, Ms. Webb? And they might pick up on that and say, okay, what can we do to help? So let's hear what Jordan has to say.
The best thing about Mayor Birkhoff is he wants to do things as a region. He doesn't want to just have Romulus in a bubble. He wants to work with neighbors. He wants to work with neighbors across the ones that are right next door. And he is comfortable speaking on behalf of all of the Conference of Western Wayne and really on behalf of municipalities as a whole, because they're all facing the same struggles. And what he's really good at is sharing best practices with other communities as well. And that's probably the biggest benefit that our mayors and supervisors get from the Conference of Western Wayne, is being able to share those best practices. So Mayor Birkhoff, one of the initiatives that he started with the Conference of Western Wayne was to bring our 18 communities together in a unified voice, bring them up to the state capitol as one large community to advocate for our entire region as a whole. And that really made a big difference and allowed us to get things done with our state legislators, as opposed to doing it in 18 separate ways. Yeah. So that's been fantastic, and he's served as our chairman, and right now he's our chairman emeritus.
Thank you, Jordan. Jordan's here. Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate it. She does a great job. In addition to that, we have other partners in the region. That's really important to pull all those partners in. I want to highlight a couple that are really important. Aerotropolis, which is up there. I saw Chris. Chris, where are you? Chris is our new director there. Aerotropolis, think of it real simply this way, is the state legislature gave us the opportunity in a zone from Detroit Metro Airport to Willow Run to add some extra incentives to particularly logistics or other type businesses that we did not have before. So when we're competing with other states, we work together collaboratively to bring those in. A couple others, we got the schools right there, right? I mean, schools, right? We got school board people, school people. I'm class of 82. What are you, Corey? 86. There we go. See? We got to work with the schools. We had a nice program just this week, didn't we? MLK got together, worked with them. We had a march, had a nice program. Schools are part of it because they view community as us all together, one. We're not separate. Down at the bottom is we're doing a mixer in this room with Conference of Western Wayne and DCC. So Romulus is part of both, Huron's part of both. It's just a great way to work together with all our leaders to come together. So we're going to be here on the 14th of February. We're going to do some socializing, discussion, and sharing best practices. Then after that conference in Western Wayne, we'll have their regular meeting, swear in their officers, and we'll move forward. Some other things you heard about the MML, where Tony was from. Obviously we've got Ministerial Alliance. We love to do things with Ministerial Alliance. They're doing a lot. I kind of call the churches, they're the backbone of the community, really. And so we try to rally around them, support them. All our electeds do. And it's just a great, great effort. What you're going to hear next, this is one of our pastors. This is Pastor Burrell. And he's going to talk about kind of the importance of, the spiritual side of a community, the faith-based side of a community, but he's also going to touch a little bit on parks, which is near and dear to his heart. Let's hear from him.
I think it's great to have had the tenure that I've had here. I've seen a couple of the mayors, worked with all of the mayors, but specifically with this mayor, there is a heightened awareness of spiritual concerns and some of the initiatives that he sets forth. He is very careful to place his faith at the center of his drive, and that within itself motivates the religious and the spiritual community to come alongside to help, because we see somebody who is in office who has, first of all, a heart for God, and then obviously a heart for the community. And so, again, the carryover is enormous. The fact that we pray together, we counsel with each other, and we're able to hold each other accountable. I go back to sitting on that corner for 26 years and watching what has developed and what has happened over that period of time. The walkway was, for the most part, used by the community as a thoroughfare. There was no kids playing, right, until this initiative came along where it was revamped and the swings were added and all of the things that had happened all the way through the park. And through that sub, now you see kids playing, right? You see, where you didn't see that before, you see them now gathering around the swing set, and there's conversation, and then it brings the parents out to watch the kids. And so the topography is beautiful, but also the fellowship that's in the community, which is necessary, which is promulgated by the parks. So that's a good thing. It's a great thing. Mm-hmm.
So this is that walkway that we're talking about up top. And let me tell you, Tanya did an awesome job. She is over our recreation or parks, and she found grant dollars. And this was a walkway that, as the pastor said, people were just kind of using to cut through. And now it's beautiful with city council's help and approval on that. Now we have play equipment and smiles on faces, and thank you, Tanya, for doing that. Great job. Some other fun stuff. What I love about Romulus is that we really care and have a tremendous outreach for veterans. You're not just Bob and Kevin, but there are a lot of people who come together to support veterans. So this was an idea that we heard about that another community had done, and it was a way that family members could that served in the military, buy a banner, display it downtown. So we had a little kickoff ceremony, then we added some as it went, but basically it was a way for people to celebrate those who served this country. I mean, isn't that great? That's why we have these freedoms, people. If they didn't go and fight for us, we wouldn't have them. And so it's pretty cool to be able to put those up in the downtown corridor and show those off, and also be a way to honor the families. Cemetery, man, that cemetery has really been coming around. Not just Jan, but the whole board, city council support, working things into the budget. This last year, we had this awesome kind of a grand opening for 2 new gates. That kind of entryways into that cemetery. We had it just before our Wreaths Across America program, so we did a nice little ribbon cutting. Jan and the board and council were there, the treasurer and clerk, everybody came out, and then we topped it off with a lot of fun honoring the headstones of those who served. Let's take a look ahead real quick. These are some of the goals and things that you're going to hear and see more about that are really important. So when you walk away from here today and someone says, what did you hear at Birkhoff's talk, or what's going on in the city, these are some pretty interesting and important things. Public safety, obviously, that was top in the visioning. So what we're going to be working on this year is emergency medical dispatch. So what that means is that when you call 911 and you need medical help, they don't say, okay, let me put you on hold and transfer you. They're going to be giving you medical help while you're on the phone. That's enhanced service. That's pretty cool. So we're going to be working on that this year. Advanced life support transport. We're hoping to get to that point. So when we come to your door, you call for help, it's a higher level of quality service when we get there. Sidewalks, pathways, and infrastructure. We have a study session with City Council on February 3rd, first meeting of February. And Roberto's going to be there with the team talking about some initiatives to improve walking space. In the visioning statement, we heard from residents that mobility was an issue. Here we are in Romulus, we've got the airport in the center, so we're trying to get around all these quadrants, we're trying to connect neighborhoods, we're trying to be one. And so there's a lot of areas in our community that have, as council said, walking paths, right? I mean, they're walking paths. You can see where people are walking. Now, this has to be a multi-year plan. We don't have enough funding to do every one of those walking paths into a sidewalk, but you're going to see some significant movement on sidewalks that either come out of the sidewalk fund, grants that are out there, or part of other developments. So if there's road improvements or water sewer improvements, while we're there, we're going to be improving some of those. There's some TAP grant opportunities that we're going to be utilizing. And so over this next couple years, you're going to see a lot more in walkable space. Rooftops, we're going to continue to work on more. We've done some creative things with the county land bank, and we're going to keep doing more. We are blessed that we still have undeveloped land. If we were built out, it would be a frustrating situation as a community. We still have industrial, commercial, and residential properties that can be expanded for rooftops. The recreation master plan is going to be updated, as well as a grant funding program for some park improvements. And when you heard earlier that we came in and all the parks were closed, and we used corporate sponsors, we used what we could, Wayne County's help, to be creative to get parks open. And I got a couple parks that are there. One is former Mayor McAnally and also Jimmy Raspberry Park that we've got to put some work into it. So we're going to be doing that this year. Dan, I commit to you, and thanks for Wayne County's help. Sometimes the big parks get all the attention, but we want to get every park up to shape where it's safe for people, they can enjoy it, and we're tapping into every opportunity for grant funding that we can. David Glade, Supervisor at Huron, he's going to touch a little bit on this last year where we reshaped the host agreement with 34th District Court. 34th District Court services the 5 communities, which are Romulus, Van Buren, Belleville, Sumter, Huron, Metro Parks, and this airport. So let's hear what Supervisor Glade has to say.
One thing I appreciated was how Mayor Birkhoff kind of led the discussion, brought the communities together to formulate this agreement. It really solidifies a lot of past and present practice, many of which was just based on the 1998 agreement, and some kind of quasi-amendments, if you will, that we had in practice, but it just brought all those particular practices together into one formal agreement and document that both the communities and the court can rely on, and that works well for the funding of the court as well as the communities themselves. In the end, the result was very positive. Even the process itself has some value to it. It helps solidify the relationship between the communities. There's always give and take. There's always many different interests to consider. And in the end, we were able to forge an agreement that everybody was satisfied with. It's good for the future of the court. It's good for all the communities. And it also emphasizes the importance of keeping good communication between communities, good positive relationships between the mayors and supervisors and our district court judges.
Thank you, Supervisor, for covering that. The court obviously is going to be opening soon. It's important to us. It's important that we still be the host agreement. I know I saw Judge Oakley, thank you, our new chief judge, for being here. I'm not sure who else is here. Missed some of the intros in the beginning, but it's really important that we partner and work together. That's just an integral part of our community, and we'll be hoping to have a grand opening here. Once we get the specific date, we'll make a big celebration, but it's looking good. When you come by that area, it is really coming together. Some other big things coming up this year. I mean, 50-year anniversary, 1970 to 2020. There's a lot of us that have seen. I remember my first tour of the City Hall building. Kyle Carmichael, I still got my little city coin that he gave me. We walked through. A lot has changed, right, in 50 years. So what we want to do, you'll hear more things. We've got some pretty neat ideas. We're putting together a committee of people. If you're in this room, you want to be part of it, let us know. But it's important to celebrate that milestone. So stay tuned for more there. This is really important, and I've got to put a plug in for the census. Every 10 years we go through a process of counting each other. And so why is that important? Everything in local government is based on population and numbers. So this is really important. This point we put in the middle is that basically in 2020 census, you'll lose a community $1,800 annually for someone who isn't counted. We can't afford to have that happen. We need everybody counted. So there's things starting as early as March. You want information on it, we can help you. But we have a team that's put together to work on the census. This is really important that every community gets accurate counts. Boys and Girls Club, I saw Jill back here. Got the whole team, all right? So what is this about? Everybody that knows me and knows Mayor Conley and Belleville, it's about the kids. Think about this, Boys and Girls Club, what I believe what they're good at, and you were there when we started, remember this has been a long ride. After school, and that's when, from after school till when parents get home, that's when kids experiment with things they shouldn't. And a lot of times kids don't have an opportunity to go and have supervised activities. So there's two clubs, both in schools, one Donahue Club in Belleville, the other at Wick Elementary in Romulus, and thank you for the schools for allowing us to do that, but that gives them that opportunity. And so what we do is we have fun, we have an auction, there's some dancing, good time, all the proceeds go to support those clubs and kids. So help us with that, mark your calendar, April's right around the corner, you may see me out there cutting a rug. Something else that's really important is our Hometown Heroes. This has been going on prior to me, it started, and we've tried to kind of build it. There's a team that works on it. But really what this is about is recognizing people who are just doing the right thing. This could be a school teacher, right? This could be a police officer, firefighter. It could be somebody else that did something. And I know people get kind of, strange with the word hero. It's just somebody who did something, did the right thing with no expectation for any recognition. That's really what it's about. So mark your calendar, we'll be doing another Hometown Hero. This one is important and near and dear also. This is Relay for Life. We've had Relay going on in the city of Romulus now. Their theme is Lights, Camera, Cures. And it's going to be August 1st and 2nd, right behind the Senior Center. And so I bet everybody in this room has been impacted by cancer. I have. My mom died from breast cancer. Come support it. Let's hear from Pastor McBurrow again.
The mayor has a presence, and as a leader myself, there is nothing like personification by presence. And when you have that, when you have that commonality where you're able to share with and to be there, and there's a Greek term called koinonia, which we translate into fellowship, and he is a fellowshipping individual who you can see his sense of value. And as those things transpire, right, his vision, it becomes tangible. When it's tangible, people will partner with it. We see in him someone that we can follow and partner with as well. And so when it comes to the Ministerial Alliance, because he is always there, because he is showing forth his personal values, which are consistent with what we believe as Christians. I hosted the past Thanksgiving Day service, He was there. And then again, all the initiatives that go on in the city with the Ministerial Alliance, again, his presence it has an enormous effect. And he's trusted by the community, I believe. Keep up the good work. It's very difficult when the relationship with the community in the city is stressed. I don't sense that here. Again, having been here for the time that I've been here, it's a perfect mixture. And the impact is seen and felt.
Okay, so thank you, Pastor McBurrell. This is Jeremiah 29, verse 11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declared the Lord, plans to prosper, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And I thought that was perfect and fitting. And actually, if you look up the next verse after, verse 12, it says, "If you come to me and pray, you will be heard." And I think that even takes it to the next level. So let's do this. This is the public participation part. You're going to stand up. You guys might think this guy is nuts. That's okay. Crazy for the Lord, right, Pastor? So reach across to the person next to you. I'll bridge them up front here. And help me with our closing prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this awesome last year that we had. All the things that we accomplished, we couldn't have done it without you. Lord, we ask you to forgive us for any trespasses that we may have or any hurt feelings. Lord, we ask that you continue to bless not just our first responders, but all our workers on the front line that are giving their very best. Lord, we ask that you watch over this community and you strengthen us and you grant us your wisdom. And Lord, be with the city council, be with our treasurer and clerk and our judges and our other local officials, Lord. Lord, we ask for your help as we move forward with this human vision that we're rolling out. Lord, but that human vision is not what the big picture is about. Lord, we ask, just like we're reaching across today, to reach to our neighbors, reach to our surrounding communities and surrounding churches, and help rally us to do your will. And we ask this all in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you, everybody.
We're here just closing out the Mayor's 2020 State of the City Address here at the Romulus Athletic Center. And I'm here with State Representative Alex Garza. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Great. So why don't you give us kind of the highlights that you heard from the Mayor's presentation today?
Sure. I think Mayor Birkhoff's presentation was a great one. I think that he's doing a great job here as Mayor of the City of Romulus in a time where many communities are struggling to meet ends meet, especially with with the state of our economies coming back from the recession that we had in the last decade. Romulus is doing great. I mean, economic development is coming back and leading Wayne County, so that's something that we're seeing, and it's a very positive for the region. So Romulus is doing well, and we're looking forward to all the good things that Mayor's going to do in the future.
Great, thank you so much. I'm here with Taylor Johnson, a member of our beautification committee and local resident. Welcome, Taylor.
Hi, welcome.
Yes.
Yes.
So I know this is your first time attending one of Mayor Birkhoff's State of the City addresses. What, if anything, stood out to you or that you were excited to hear about?
I was excited to hear about the expansion in parks just because of the area where I live at. I've seen directly the improvements that he talked about, and I'm excited to see what the future is going to bring when it comes to that.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Anything else that you learned that maybe you weren't aware of?
I wasn't aware of the existing businesses expansions that went on. I mean, I think I was driving down Wayne Road and I've seen some expansions, but to see them all be really highlighted from both Wayne Road to downtown Romulus, I think is really nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, now we're here with Jeff Lowry, president of the Romulus Chamber of Commerce and a local business owner. Hi there, Jeff.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks for being here. So we just finished the mayor's presentation here for the State of the City. And what stood out to you? Any highlights that you were really interested in?
Well, honestly, everything. I mean, I just love the fact that we have our parks up open right now. The parks are great. The fire stations are back open and everything too. All those the red ribbon cutting ceremonies We had a bunch of them this year, which was fantastic.
We appreciate your guys' partnership with that.
Absolutely, and then the partnerships with the churches, obviously, and everything working out. So pretty much everything, you know. Mayor's doing a great job this year, you know, and actually really happy for the city to be blooming like it is right now.
I agree. Thank you. And, you know, the chamber, you guys do a lot, but you're also a resident.
Yes.
You grew up here, and was there anything that you heard that maybe you weren't aware of or something new that you learned?
I'm very happy with the new CEO inside the airport. He's really working with him. They're working together collaboratively, you know, working with the fire departments and everything too. So that's a great news to hear right there. I mean,
anything else?
No, just everything's going good. So I mean, at least in my view, it's a small business owner here in Romulus, and then, you know, obviously working closely with you guys, being part of the chamber. I just like how we all can come together and work together and try to work with the community, because we love the community. So it works out really well, I think.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Jeff. Glad you were
Thank you.
here. Now I'm here with Chris Girdwood, Executive Director of the Detroit Region Aerotropolis. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you very much, Jasmine.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So, Chris, this is your first time attending the Mayor's State of the City address. What stood out to you, or anything that you were excited to hear about today?
So very excited to hear about the focus on economic development. As you know, I've come from that industry, and it's good to know that the mayor, the council, and the staff have a good focus on job creation and capital investment. And spurring growth in the community is hard work, and it takes a team approach, and the mayor clearly conveyed that team approach.
Great, thank you. Anything that you were surprised or maybe hadn't heard about before?
So I'm really interested in learning more about the downtown area. I haven't spent too much time in downtown Romulus, but I think there's a great opportunity for growth there, how we can drive jobs and capital investment to that area, whether it's I don't know, more amenities, whether it's after the 5 o'clock day or even during.
Right. Awesome. Anything else?
It's good to be a part of the community. I work in Romulus and enjoy it. Thank you, Jasmine.
Thanks so much for being here.